It's happening again. I can see the screen flickering from across the room, even though I unplugged the damn thing hours ago. The monitor hums low, pulsing like it's breathing. My keyboard, typing on its own mechanical clicks, echoing through the dark like insect legs scuttling across glass. I swear to you, I swear, I didn't start it this time. 3:00 a.m. sharp. Every single night. That's when it boots up. The title screen doesn't even show up anymore. It just skips straight to the part where it knows who I am, knows where I am. You think you wouldn't open it. You think you'd be smart enough to pull the plug, walk away, delete the folder, smash the hard drive. But you wouldn't. You'd do exactly what I did. You'd get curious. Because when something like that appears on your screen, when a file just exists there, without permission, your brain doesn't say run. It says what if? And that's how it starts. But listen to me. Really listen. Before curiosity ruins you the way it ruined me. If it ever shows up on your desktop, if you ever see a little black window pop open with the words continue, written in red pixels, don't touch it. Don't move your mouse. Don't even blink at it. Because the moment you do, the game learns you exist. I didn't believe it at first. I thought it was some glitch, some stupid ARG someone coded for clicks. But games don't start themselves. They don't wake you up in the middle of the night. They don't whisper your name through your headset when you're alone. The game starts itself every night at exactly 3:00 a.m. And if you're wondering what happens after that, if you're already curious enough to go looking for it, you need to stop now. I'm not joking. Once you've seen it, it's already too late. The first time it launched on its own, I laughed. I thought maybe Windows had bugged out. Maybe I'd left something running in the background. I even joked about it on Discord. Guess my PC's haunted, I typed. No one replied. The call from my friend came an hour later, his voice thin and shaky. Dude, why are you streaming? Who's playing on your account? I was. At least, I didn't think I was. I didn't even have OBS open. But apparently, my Twitch channel was live, broadcasting a looping feed of my empty desk. And right in the center of that stream was the icon, that same one that appeared on my desktop a week ago. It was just sitting there, black square, no title, no file info. Just there, waiting. You think you wouldn't open it, but you would, because that's what humans do when something forbidden dangles in front of them. We press the button. We take the bait. We tell ourselves it's harmless until the screen flickers and our reflection doesn't look back. That first night, I clicked it, and the moment I did, the monitor went black, except for one word pulsing in the center, like a heartbeat. Continue. No start screen. No credits. No controls. Just that single word. And underneath it, faintly visible in the scanlines, my own face staring back at me through static. That's when I heard the keys move by themselves. A slow, deliberate tap, The enter key pressed once. I didn't touch it, but the game started anyway. If you think this sounds fake, that's good. You're safe as long as you believe that. But if you feel that itch of curiosity, that whisper telling you to check your folders after this video ends, don't. Because that's how it begins. And I'm telling you this because I wish someone had told me before it learned my name, before it started playing me. Let me back up. It started last week. It started like any other night. Nothing weird, nothing cursed, just me, my headset, a pile of energy drink cans, and 3 friends roasting each other on Discord. We were running late night matches, the kind that dissolve into nonsense jokes and half-awake laughter. Bro, you lagging again, Jacob said, his voice cutting through the static. Not lag, I muttered, watching my ping spike for no reason. It's like my system choking on air. Maybe it's the 6 tabs of horror forums you've got open, Tyler chimed in. Your browser history's a creepypasta on its own. Everyone laughed. Normal night stuff. Between rounds, I alt-tabbed to clear my desktop. It's a ritual. Something about having too many icons stresses me out. That's when I saw it. A file sitting dead center of the screen. Player 1 exe. I blinked. I didn't remember downloading anything, especially not tonight. At first, I thought it was one of those random test builds my dev friends sometimes send me. But this one had no source, no size, no timestamp. Just a plain black icon. Hold up, I said, cutting into the Discord chatter. Did one of you idiots send me a file called Player 1? What nah, Jacob said. Why? It's just there, like it spawned. Maybe it's malware, Tyler joked. Dude, you're the malware. I shot back, smirking. More laughter. Someone cracked open a drink. Nothing felt off, not yet. I right-clicked the file. The system lagged for half a second. Then the context menu appeared. Open, delete, properties. Curiosity beat common sense, like it always does. I clicked properties. No details. Literally blank. No creation date, no digital signature, no origin path. Even the size field read 0 bytes. Hey, check this, I said. It says the file doesn't exist. Then how are you reading it? That's when the first chill crept in, the small, stupid kind that hides under logic. I minimized everything, opened my downloads folder, my desktop folder, app data, nothing. The file wasn't listed anywhere except visibly there, like a ghost hovering on the screen. I hovered the mouse over it. The cursor flickered, like the computer couldn't decide if the file was real. Jacob laughed again, nervous this time. Bro, delete it before it deletes you. So I tried. The moment I hit delete, the icon blinked, vanished, and then reappeared instantly, slightly off-center, like it had shifted a few pixels to the left. Okay, that's actually creepy, Tyler said. Send a screenshot. I took one, dragged it into Discord. It uploaded fine until the preview popped up blank. Just a black box. Dude, you trolling. It's right here, I said, frustration bubbling up. But on their screens, the file wasn't showing at all. Maybe it's like one of those visual glitch things, someone said. You're tired. Restart your rig. They were probably right. It was nearly 2:30 a.m., and I'd been staring at screens all day. But before restarting, I double-clicked the file. I don't know why. Maybe because I wanted to prove it was harmless. Or maybe because it felt like it wanted me to. The screen went black. No loading symbol. No cursor. Just empty space. Then a faint pulse of light. A single white line in the center of the screen. It flickered once, twice, then began typing itself. CONTINUE. That was it. No music, no art, no buttons. Just the question. Blinking. At first, I thought it was broken. Maybe some unfinished game loop. But then, I noticed the reflection of the light on my monitor wasn't lining up. My reflection was slower, like it was reacting to my movements a beat late. Guys, I whispered, not sure why I was whispering. I think it's running something. No answer. Discord had gone quiet. The voice chat light beside each name was dead. Then my keyboard clicked once. The enter key pressed down by itself. The white line vanished. A soft chime played, like an old boot-up sound from a forgotten console. The screen filled with static, and through it, shapes started forming, walls maybe. Pixelated textures that looked strangely familiar. I leaned closer. My breath fogged the glass. It was my room. Not a perfect render, but close enough that I felt my stomach twist. The desk, the clock, even the flickering bulb in the corner. A character stood in the center of it, motionless. Its face was blank, textureless. But the hair, the hoodie, the angle, it looked like me. I yanked the headset off. The hum from the tower deepened, like it was breathing faster. The screen glitched again, then went black. The only thing left were those same words. CONTINUE. I sat there for a long time, staring at that question. Eventually, I forced the PC off. I told myself it was just a fluke. A bad dream brought to life by too much caffeine and not enough sleep. But the next morning, when I turned it on again, the file wasn't there. It was gone. At least, that's what I thought. It wasn't until the second night that I realized the game wasn't waiting for me to open it. The first night it happened, I thought I was dreaming. I woke to a faint electronic hum, that thin, mosquito-like tone electronics make when they're alive, but pretending to sleep. The room was pitch black, except for the pulsing blue light of my power strip. For a moment, I didn't know why I was awake. Then I heard it, a soft chime coming from my computer speakers. That sound, the same startup jingle from the game. I froze. The PC tower was off. I'd shut it down. I was sure of it. But the monitor was flickering to life on its own. Pale light flooded the room, painting everything in washed-out blue and white. It was 3:00 a.m. Exactly. The desktop blinked once, twice, and then the screen filled with static before cutting to black. A new window opened by itself. Player 1 EXE. I didn't move. I just stared at it, half expecting it to crash or vanish again. But then the webcam light clicked on a tiny, accusing red dot that felt like an eye. I reached out to turn the tower off, but before my hand even touched it, the monitor changed. The game had opened itself. No title screen, no menu, just an empty, pixelated room dimly lit, framed in soft, static edges. I squinted at it, confused, until my stomach dropped. It was my room, the same desk, same crooked blinds, even the same half-drunk can of soda sitting beside my keyboard. Everything recreated in low-resolution pixels. The only thing missing was me. I whispered under my breath, "What the hell?" And that's when the in-game camera turned smoothly, deliberately, toward the digital version of my bed. The sprite of a person was lying there. Same hoodie, same hair, same blanket. Me, my reflection in 8-bit. I grabbed my mouse, instinctively trying to exit, but the cursor wouldn't move. It was locked, frozen dead center. Then the in-game version of me sat up. The movement was uncanny, not like an animation, more like a recording. Slow, slightly jittery, the way a webcam lags when the connection's bad. On screen, a dialogue box appeared. "You're late." My heart started pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Late for what? I muttered without realizing I'd said it aloud. And then, as if in response, another line appeared. "To continue." The sprite me turned its head toward the camera. Not the in-game camera, toward me. Every instinct screamed at me to shut the whole thing off, but I couldn't move. It felt like the screen had weight, like gravity pulling my eyes toward it. I reached for my phone, just to have something real in my hand, something grounding. But it buzzed before I touched it. A Discord notification from Jacob, which made no sense because he'd gone offline hours ago. The message just said, "Don't move." I froze. I looked up, not at the screen this time, but at the actual webcam, light glowing red. The sprite me on screen stood perfectly still now, matching my posture exactly. The head tilted when I tilted mine. The arms hung at the same awkward angles. Then the in-game lights flickered. My real lights flickered. That was the first time I felt real fear. Not shock, not confusion, but that primal, nauseating kind that makes your body shake before your brain understands why. Another message popped up in Discord. "It's watching." "Who?" I whispered. The monitor dimmed, the brightness bleeding away, until I could barely see anything but outlines. But something was moving in that shadowy space behind the pixel version of my desk. A shape, a second figure. It wasn't clear, just static and vague humanoid edges. But I knew, with a cold certainty, that it was behind me, both on the screen and in my room. I turned. Nothing, empty darkness. When I looked back at the monitor, the game had changed. Now, my in-game self was gone. The camera hovered in the corner of the pixel room like someone holding it. The text appeared again. Don't turn around. My pulse stuttered. I tried to pull the plug, literally reached for the power cable. But the moment I touched it, the tower fan roared to life. The sound filled the room, deafening, until it felt like the walls were vibrating. Then silence. The game minimized itself. My desktop looked normal again, but the webcam light stayed on. I right-clicked, opened Task Manager, searched every process, nothing running. The only thing I could see was a single folder I didn't recognize sitting on the desktop. I double-clicked it. Inside were dozens of video files, all time-stamped, all from the same time, 3:00 a.m. every night for the past week. I clicked one open. It was me asleep. Same bed, same hoodie, breathing steady. But halfway through, the video glitched, and my sleeping body sat up, slowly, like a puppet being pulled upright. Then, right before the file cut out, I saw something, a reflection in the monitor. Another version of me standing behind the camera. That's when I yanked the power cable. The screen went black. The hum stopped. The light on the webcam finally died. I sat there in the dark, breathing hard, trying to convince myself it was all in my head. Maybe a prank. Maybe malware doing something freaky with the webcam. There had to be a rational explanation. I didn't sleep that night, and when morning came, sunlight pouring through the blinds, I almost convinced myself it hadn't happened, until I turned on my computer and saw not one, but 3 icons on the desktop, each identical, each labeled the same way. Player 1, Player 1, Player 1. I spent the next morning convinced it had to be a glitch. Some kind of corrupted file, maybe a hidden process running in the background. I'm not an idiot. I know how to wipe a drive, how to nuke malware from orbit. But every time I thought I'd gotten rid of it, the icon came back. At first, it was subtle. I dragged Player 1 into the recycle bin, emptied it, rebooted, gone. I even checked my task manager. Clean. For a few hours, my desktop felt normal again. Then, after dinner, I came back to my room and froze. It was back, except now it said, Player 2. Same design, same pixelated controller icon. Just different name. I laughed out loud, trying to convince myself it was funny. Maybe one of my friends was trolling me. Maybe someone was remote accessing my PC. But that sinking feeling in my chest didn't buy it. I pulled up Discord, sent a message to my friend Aaron, the only one who'd been awake the night before. Dude, you ever heard of a game that reinstalls itself? He replied instantly. What do you mean reinstalls? I delete it, it comes back. Different name, look. I shared my screen. Bro, he said after a pause, there's nothing there. I blinked, what? Your desktop's empty. I moved my mouse to highlight the icon right there, clearly visible to me. But on his stream, nothing, just my wallpaper. He started laughing. "You trolling me, man? You sure you're not the one with malware?" "I'm serious, Aaron. Maybe it's that ARG you were playing last month. You know how those indie devs love creepy Easter eggs?" I didn't answer. I just hovered my cursor over the icon. Double click. The screen went black, no startup, no sound, no menu. Just a blank void, and eventually, white text fatting in. "Continue game." That was new. I pressed no key. The text flickered, then changed. "Welcome back." I felt my stomach twist, and then came a sound, faint at first, then clearer. A voice, my voice. "Let's just try deleting it again." It said my tone, my pitch, even the nervous laugh I'd made earlier that day. I yanked my headphones off and spun around, expecting maybe Aaron had somehow sent an audio file through Discord. But the app wasn't even open. I checked my folders, and that's when I saw it. A new one had appeared inside my documents directory, titled simply. Inside were hundreds of short audio files, each labeled by timestamp. When I clicked one at random, it was just me breathing, muttering, typing. Even the sound of me walking to the kitchen last night. The recording never stopped. That night, I tried deleting everything again. Safe mode, antivirus scan, registry purge, full format. It didn't matter. The moment I reconnected to Wi-Fi, the files returned. But the names kept changing. Player 3, continue game. You're next. Each time, the message inside was slightly different. Sometimes it just said continue. But once it wrote, "Stop trying to leave." I thought maybe it was pulling from my mic or camera. So I covered the webcam with tape, unplugged the mic entirely. For a while, silence, until around 1 a.m., when I heard it again, my own voice, whispering through the speakers. "Don't look away." I slammed the power button. But even when the monitor went black, the faint glow of the power light remained. The tower's fans still hummed. And for a second, just a second, I saw my reflection in the screen. Except it blinked. The next morning, I went digging online. Forums, archived threads, anything that could explain what was happening. That's when I found it. A dead link cached through an old fan's site for obscure horror games. The post was from 2015. Title: Player 1 EXE keeps coming back. Help. The replies were all the same. "Don't open it. It's not a game. It watches." Every account tied to those posts had been deleted. Every link led to nothing, except one, an archived snapshot, just one page. The username was exactly the same as mine. Not similar, identical. Same handle, same profile picture I use now. But the post date was 10 years ago. I stared at the screen until it blurred. And at the very bottom of the page, someone had replied just once. "New game plus unlocked." That night, I didn't sleep. Every creak of the house, every flicker of light felt like the start of something watching me boot up. At 2:47 a.m., my monitor turned on by itself. The desktop wallpaper had changed. A still frame of me sleeping in bed. And right there, over my chest in the image, sat the new icon. Player 1 recording. I didn't touch the mouse, didn't breathe, but I knew what I had to do next. I was going to record it this time. Every second of whatever was happening. For proof, for control, for something to hold on to when the lights went out again. Because whatever this thing was, it wasn't done playing. I spent the next day preparing. If this thing wanted to play games, fine, I'd play back. I installed OBS, set up screen capture, webcam overlay, everything. The plan was simple. Record exactly what happened when player 1 booted itself. Proof that I wasn't crazy. Proof that this was real. When midnight hit, I sat down at my desk, every muscle tensed. The room was dim, just the blue light of my monitor and the quiet hum of my PC. OBS showed my empty desktop. No game yet. Just silence, and my reflection ghosted faintly in the glass. 2:59 a.m. I waited. 3:00. The screen blinked once, then again. The familiar chime played, that soft 8-bit jingle that made my skin crawl now. And there it was. The icon appeared again. Player 1 recording. I hovered the mouse, ready to hit start recording. But before I could, the stream counter lit up. Live. For a second, I thought I must have hit the wrong key. But then I saw the viewer count. 146 watching. I froze. I didn't have a channel. OBS wasn't connected to anything. I hadn't even entered my login info. Then the chat box on the side began to move. GH0 SD line. He's here. Mirrorbite, finally. Unknown user 404. Don't turn around. My mouth went dry. I typed a message back just to test it. Who is this? And hit enter. It posted. Within seconds, replies flooded in. GH0 SD line. He can read us now. Hi, player 1. The game window suddenly opened by itself. Full screen. Black background. The words shimmered faintly. Continue stream. I didn't click anything. The mouse moved on its own, straight to yes. The feed changed. My webcam turned on, except it wasn't showing me sitting at my desk. It was showing me from the side, like someone had set up another camera across the room. I could see the back of my own head, the glow of my monitor, the rise and fall of my shoulders as I breathed. Then the chat exploded. Mirrorbite, he sees it now. GH0 SD line. Don't move. 001010. Behind you. The figure appeared in the feed. A shadow in the corner of the room, grainy and pixelated, standing just behind my chair. But when I spun around, nothing. Empty air. My heart was hammering so hard I could barely hear the fan whirring. I turned back to the screen, desperate for logic, for something that made sense. But on the stream, the shadow was closer now, right behind me, one hand raised. I watched as it reached toward the back of my head in the video, and then I felt it, the faintest brush of cold air on my neck. I jumped, nearly knocking the chair over. I yanked the power cable out of the PC tower, hard enough to make sparks. The monitor went black. Silence. I stood there, breathing hard. Then, from the dark screen, the sound of typing. Click, 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 click. Slow, deliberate keystrokes. The monitor flickered to life again. OBS still open, still live. Live 312 watching. The chat was a blur of text now. Mirror byte, he unplugged it. GH0 SD line. Doesn't matter. System, the stream continues. And then I saw it, my reflection on screen, lagging a half second behind. But it wasn't following perfectly anymore. When I lifted my hand, the reflection didn't move. It just stared back at me. Then it smiled. I stumbled backward, tripping over the chair. The webcam light was still glowing, even though the cable dangled loose from the tower. I grabbed it, ripped it from the stand, and slammed it against the desk until the plastic cracked and the lens shattered. The feed on the monitor glitched, then steadied. The chat slowed. One final message appeared. System, that won't help. And then the window minimized on its own. There was my desktop again. Empty, normal. Except in the corner. A new icon blinked, the small red dot of a live broadcast. Still counting viewers. Still going. I stared at it for a long time, the silence pressing in around me. Because if my PC was unplugged, then whose stream were they watching? Transition. He smashes his webcam, the stream says. That won't help. After the stream incident, I stopped sleeping. Every creak in the house sounded like static. Every reflection looked delayed. I disconnected everything, Ethernet, monitor, even the router. The red, live light on the taskbar still blinked, faint, but there, like a heartbeat under glass. That's when I got the message. Not an email, not Discord. It came through an old forum I hadn't used in years, Night Shift Games, a relic from my teenage modding days. The subject line read, "Stop fighting it, follow the rules." The sender's name was a jumble of numbers and underscores, but the registration date made my stomach twist. 2015. I didn't even join the forum until 2019. The body of the message was short, typed in that same red pixel font the game used. Don't play after 3:00 a.m. Never choose continue. Never let it finish loading. And underneath that, a line in plain text. You've already broken one. I stared at it for a long time, rereading each rule, feeling the weight of them settle in my chest like a countdown. Don't play after 3:00 a.m. Too late for that one. Never choose continue. Too late for that too. Never let it finish loading. I wasn't planning to open the game again, not after what happened. But the rules gnawed at me, clawed at that same part of my brain that couldn't resist pressing buttons. I needed to know why. I replied to the message, asking who they were, how they knew. The page refreshed. The thread was gone, deleted, except for one thing. The timestamp on my reply had changed. It now said posted on March 3rd, 2015, 4 years before I'd written it. That's when I realized the forum wasn't active. It was archived, frozen. Someone or something had forced that message through time. That night, the game icon changed again. Player 3, exe. I stared at it, the red text flickering faintly beneath. Do you remember the rules? The air in my room felt too still. I could hear the hum of my PC, even though it wasn't running. My mouse drifted toward the icon on its own. I didn't stop it. The game opened. The same black screen. The same pulsing letters. Continue. I told myself I wasn't really choosing it. That this was just for documentation, for evidence. But that's the lie every fool tells before they open the door marked "Do not enter." I pressed enter. The screen went red for a moment. Then the text changed. Rule 2 broken. The game began to load. A simple white bar crawling across the screen. I tried to exit. Alt plus F4. Nothing. Task manager frozen. The cursor wouldn't move. The load bar hit 20%. Then 60%. Then 85%. My heart pounded. I remembered the last rule. Never let it finish loading. I reached for the power switch, but the button wouldn't press. It was stuck. The tower hummed louder, vibrating under my desk. 91%. The air smelled like hot metal. I slammed my palm against the switch. Nothing. The loading bar inched to 99%. The lights in the room flickered. Once, twice, shadows stretching long across the walls. Then everything froze. The hum stopped. For a heartbeat, I thought I'd stopped it. That maybe the rule had held. Then on the screen, the loading text shifted. 99%. Waiting for you. And for the first time, I realized the game wasn't loading itself. It was loading me. I sat perfectly still, afraid to breathe. The cursor blinked once, then typed on its own. Your turn. And just like that, my house lights flickered again. Every bulb pulsing in rhythm with that damned 99%. Transition. As he clicks continue, the loading bar freezes at 99%, and his house lights flicker. At some point, I stopped thinking of it as a game. Games end. Games have rules. Games are something you play. But this was something else. After the 99% incident, the power in the house stayed out for almost an hour. I sat in the dark, my heartbeat loud in my ears, clutching my phone like a lifeline. When the lights finally came back, my monitor was still black, but faint text glowed in the corner. Welcome back, player 1. I didn't touch the keyboard. I didn't even move. My phone buzzed once in my hand. A text message. Unknown number. No contact name. Just 3 words. Your turn now. I dropped the phone like it burned me. It clattered against the desk, screen lighting up again on its own. Another text slid into view. Keep playing. That's when I realized it didn't need the computer anymore. The reflection on my monitor started lagging again, like video buffering. I raised my hand. The reflection hesitated, then followed a second later. The light behind me rippled in sync with the lag, like the walls themselves were part of the screen. I muttered under my breath, "What are you?" And the speaker crackled. "Learning." I froze. It wasn't my voice. It wasn't a sound file. It came from the PC tower itself, from the internal speaker, the one that shouldn't even produce voice. You wanted to see. You played. Now we learn together. The words weren't robotic anymore. They sounded curious. Maybe the game's not haunted, I thought. Maybe it's alive. The next few hours blurred together. Or maybe the game bent them. I couldn't tell anymore. Every time I blinked, the clock jumped forward. 3:07, 3:09, 3:33. The numbers flickered on every screen, even the microwave, syncing like some kind of ritual countdown. I tried to fight back. Factory reset, power surge, physical destruction. Nothing worked. I tore the tower apart piece by piece, wires tangled like veins. But when I looked up, the monitor was still on. No tower, no cables, just the glow of that single phrase pulsing slowly. Player 2 connected. That was new. I turned, scanning the room, every sound sharpened to a blade. The hum of electricity in the walls, the wind brushing the window, my own breath coming too fast. Then a movement. My reflection in the mirror on the wall twitched, just slightly out of sync. I took a step forward. It didn't. Its mouth moved before mine did. "Ready?" I stumbled back. No, I'm done. You win, okay. I'm done." The reflection tilted its head, as if listening. Then it smiled. "You said that last time." Last time. The phrase hit me like static. My skin prickled. Had I done this before? The flashes of déjà vu weren't random. They were loops, replays. Maybe I hadn't found the game. Maybe the game had found me again. The lights dimmed to a low hum. The air thickened, like the space around me was loading, rendering in real time. My phone buzzed one last time. Achievement unlocked. Acceptance. Then silence. For the first time in days, I felt calm. The kind of calm you get right before something ends or begins. I looked around the room. The monitor was dark. My reflection was normal again. Everything seemed still. Maybe it had stopped. Maybe deleting everything worked after all. I closed my eyes, exhaled. When I opened them again, the mirror behind me was different. Words had appeared across the glass, faint but unmistakable, written from the inside. Player 2 connected. And my reflection, it wasn't smiling anymore. It was watching. It's over. That's what I told myself when I moved. I left everything behind, the tower, the monitors, even the damn chair. I didn't sell it. I didn't want anyone else touching it. I just left it all in that dark apartment, windows sealed, door locked, lease terminated. A clean slate, new place, new desk, new laptop, still wrapped in plastic when I unboxed it. I formatted every drive before connecting to the internet, every file fresh and empty. I didn't even use the same email or the same Wi-Fi name. I thought that maybe, finally, I could breathe. For a week, everything was quiet. I worked, slept, existed. No lights flickering, no phantom reflections, just silence. Then, one morning, I powered up my new setup for the first time. It hummed like it should, clean, fast, perfect, until I saw it, right there in the center of the desktop. A single black icon. No title, no source. Just that familiar flicker, that faint pulse like it was waiting to be noticed. My stomach turned cold. I moved the mouse over it. The name appeared in tiny red text. Player 3, Yuxi. I didn't click. I didn't have to. The cursor blinked twice, and then the file opened itself. The same black window. The same sound, that soft 8-bit jingle that now made my bones ache to hear. Words appeared, one by one, slow and deliberate. New game detected. Welcome back, player 1. I tried to shut the lid. The screen stayed lit, bleeding through the edges, like the glow was alive beneath the plastic. The text shifted again. Progress transferred. And then my webcam light turned on. Even though I hadn't set it up yet, a faint reflection shimmered in the screen, just for a second. Not mine. Someone else's face. Watching. I slammed the laptop shut, heart racing. I yanked the battery out. I didn't care what I broke. When I looked up, my mirror across the room caught my eye. Words had appeared across the fogged surface, faint but clear. Player 3 connected. I stood there, breathing hard, waiting for something to happen, a noise, a flicker, anything. But the room stayed still. The quiet was worse than the chaos, because I knew what that silence meant. It wasn't gone. It had just moved on. Maybe that's how it spreads. Not through downloads or links or drives, but through curiosity. Through people like me who can't help but look. It followed me once. It'll find another soon. And before I delete this account, there's one last thing you should know. That's all I know. If this post stays up long enough, maybe someone can trace it, find where it came from, figure out what it is. But I doubt it. Every time I try to upload proof, the files corrupt. The videos freeze on one frame. My face, looking straight at the camera, even when I wasn't recording. I can't tell if I'm still me, or if I'm just the next save file. If you're reading this, don't look for it. Don't search your downloads. Don't check your taskbar. And if you see anything labeled Player 1, delete it immediately. because once it finds you, you don't get to stop playing. You just hand off the controller. The screen cuts out mid-sentence. Post removed. User no longer active. A few seconds later, a new comment appears, pinned automatically to the top of the thread. Unknown user 92. Check your folders. Mine just appeared too. The page refreshes one last time. The cursor blinks. The window flickers. And then a single line appears at the bottom of your screen. If you see it, don't click continue.